Hi everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on Hosted Workspaces, Anywhere Computing for Today's Mobile Workforce. I'm Bob Abruzzi, All-Covered's National Manager for Solution Portfolio, and I'm very excited to introduce you to this new offering that we have. First, I'd like to start with a little bit about All-Covered. All-Covered is the IT Services Division of Konica Minolta Business Solutions USA. Established in 1997, it is headquartered in Foster City, California, and with offices in more than 25 cities across the U.S., All-Covered has more than 800 employees, most of which are engineers, over 600 of which. So we have strong depth on the technology side. So hosted workspaces are really beneficial for today's mobile workforce. So let's talk a little bit about the mobile workforce and their particular needs today. We are seeing that business professionals are increasingly spending more and more time outside of the traditional office setting, and they're increasingly using their personal devices for work-related tasks. Our studies indicate that on average, people working remotely 1 to 2 days per week. More and more people have multiple devices that they're doing work from. On average, people have over 3 devices that they use for business use in some way, shape, or form. And nearly half of people are using their personal devices for work. And this could be something as simple as just using your iPhone, your personal iPhone for email, or doing presentations on an iPad. We are seeing quite a range of how people are incorporating their personal devices into their work experience. This trend is even extending further into a concept called Bring Your Own Device, or BYOD. BYOD really just refers to the idea that people are in some cases, using their personal devices as their primary business computing device. And we're seeing a trend in this area. So whereas in 2013, we saw this starting out, and maybe 6% of companies were really embracing that BYOD approach. We've seen that increasing, and projections show that by next year, it'll be up to 38%, and that'll continue to grow. So that by 2020, when you look at the combination of companies that either use all BYOD as their approach or have a mixed, that accounts for the vast majority of organizations doing some level of BYOD. Now, BYOD certainly introduces some challenges in that a company's applications and systems need to be usable across these different device types. It's very different from in the past when everyone had a standard corporate issued laptop, and it was very easy for IT to make sure that applications worked across those laptops. So now there's more and more of a need to be able to make sure these applications and the data are accessible to your employees across different types of devices. So what can we do to empower this mobile workforce? And how can organizations adapt to these trends and really make sure that their employees remain productive? Well, one way to do that is through hosted workspaces. Hosted workspaces are business-ready solutions that deliver an employee's work desktop to any device from anywhere at any time. So they, in many ways, provide a seamless user experience to make sure that regardless of what type of device an employee is connecting from, they can get to access to their applications, their email, and their file services. And hosted workspaces have benefits beyond bring your own device. They can be beneficial towards helping with remote and branch office workers. With workspaces, often they're accessible from any internet connection. So that really makes it easier for companies that have a lot of remote or branch offices where as long as people have an internet connection, they can get to their corporate data. It helps in mobilizing applications. While many newer applications are designed for mobile devices such as tablets and phones, many of our clients are still using older applications that are not designed for mobile devices. What these workspaces can do is to help make those traditional legacy applications usable on these mobile devices. And we'll show you some examples of this, how these workspaces really help to mobilize legacy applications. Workspaces can really help with contractors and partner access as well. Rather than allowing contractors to access your environments with their own devices, you can provide a workspace on a temporary basis to a contractor. By doing so, you keep all of your intellectual property in your hardened data center, rather than letting that intellectual property be copied down to their local laptop or other devices. So it has a lot of benefits in and around security. And we see other scenarios. I have some other scenarios listed here where we see customers also benefiting from workspaces. So the all-covered solution for this is what we call all-covered workspaces. All-covered workspaces is an end-to-end solution that provides desktop as a service, often referred to as DaaS. It can enable bring your own device capabilities for our clients. And it's a way to free up IT resources in that it's provided as a fully packaged service. So it doesn't have the overhead of deploying a similar solution in your own IT infrastructure. It's really a better way to store data and documents in that it keeps this data within a hardened data center environment. And it is a way to manage costs and decrease the associated capital expenses and management overhead with trying to build this type of environment on your own. Again, by being provided as a service, it's really a turnkey offering available to our clients. So how does it work? Well, we've built all-covered workspaces using many of the processes and infrastructure of our highly successful all-covered cloud. So all-covered has been offering cloud services out of several data centers for quite some time. With that, we have built out the infrastructure to support these types of solutions, and we have a team that's very effective at managing these solutions. So we're able to leverage these capabilities that we have today and really use that as a platform for providing this new service. All-covered workspaces also comes bundled with Microsoft Office and other common applications, just as you would load on your own, if you had a new laptop or desktop. All of those applications are provided as part of the service from this cloud-hosted desktop environment. Additionally, our clients' applications, any specific business level applications that they have, are preloaded into these cloud desktops during the onboarding process. So we can really optimize it to suit your particular needs and make sure that it contains all of the applications and data needed by your employees. And when you connect to the all-covered workspace, any devices such as your printer that are connected to the device you're connecting from are automatically mapped to that remote session. So if you're working at home on your Macintosh and you have a printer connected to your Mac, when you connect to your all-covered workspace, that printer will become available to the session running in your workspace. So if you're accessing your business application in that environment and you go to print, that's going to print back to your printer at home. And driving a little more into the technical side of this, all-covered has leveraged our partnership with Citrix. Citrix is one of our main partners in a number of areas. And we're leveraging the Citrix reference architecture framework for this environment. This architecture is a proven market-leading design, and it powers over 80% of the desktop-as-a-service providers out there today. We provide each client with a dedicated and customizable Citrix XenApp server. That's the server in which your applications run on. So that's dedicated and customized for each client's particular needs. These systems run in our dedicated, in our SOC 2 certified data centers, and there's redundancy built into all components of this platform. By using this platform and doing it in our hosted environment, we're able to dedicate the components of this platform to customers to guarantee the level of flexibility and customization needed for them, while all the other components of this platform that handle the internet connection and other aspects of this are built using enterprise-class approaches with redundancy and resiliency built into the platform. By doing this, we're able to, where possible, make sure we have the redundancy and resiliency, and we do so in a multi-tenant fashion to help make this cost-effective, while making sure that, again, the environments that you're connecting to and running from are customized for your particular business. I'd like to highlight one capability of this platform that enables you to work using any device. So really the whole anywhere, any device access is a key benefit of this platform. You're able to connect over the internet to your business desktop wherever you're working from. It could be from your home or your business, could be from a PC, a Mac, a tablet, or even a phone. And really we rely upon Citrix Receiver, an enabling technology that helps to sense the type of device that you are connecting from, and then optimizes the experience for that particular device. This, as I mentioned earlier, really helps to mobilize legacy applications that maybe weren't designed for mobile devices, and it really helps to make sure that the user experience is consistent, again, whether you're connecting from your PC, a Mac, a tablet, and in some cases even a phone. So this image shows you a representation of how it is when connecting from a tablet. And you'll see here that the desktop is redisplayed in a manner that's optimized to be able to work well with someone connecting from a tablet. The start menu is reorganized in a way to make it very accessible from a tablet, and even the way the icons are laid out is reorganized. Similarly, if you're connecting from a particular application, it's going to help make that application usable, even if it wasn't designed originally with mobile devices in mind. So we really think that this device optimization is a key benefit of the Citrix Receiver and the platform overall. So with that, I would like to cover some of the key benefits with all covered workspaces. We really see them focused around mobility, versatility, security, and scalability. Let's talk about each one. In terms of mobility, with all covered workspaces, you are able to access your files from anywhere. So whether you're in the office or at home or on the road or even in the air, Hosted Workspaces can help you to be productive on the go. So meaning you don't have to be in the office to access your data. You can get to your entire business desktop from anywhere with an internet connection. It enables you to adapt to whatever life throws at you. Some examples of that, if you're stuck at home due to a snowstorm, or your child is home from school sick, or whatever the case is, and you're not disconnected from your office. So everything that you could access in your office in terms of your systems, you can just as easily get to from your home PC over an internet connection. The third item, in many ways we see this reinventing the way our customers hire. So rather than looking for the best candidate for a particular role right in your local geography, oftentimes you can expand that search and really look for the best person for that role, period. You don't have that same dependency on being in the office, so it does provide flexibility in many cases. And finally, it can help bridge the communication gap with disparate workforces. If your workforce is constituted by a number of road warriors, people are on the go all the time, oftentimes they may be sharing data via email, and many of us have experienced that often leads to communication gaps. With everyone working off this central set of data that's accessible to everyone, you can really have more consistent workflows of how you share data amongst teams and really help to bridge that overall communication gap. The next benefit I'd like to discuss is versatility, or the ability to access your files and data from any device. We've talked a little bit about this in regards to Citrix Receiver, but I really do want to emphasize this point. So with access to your work desktops, applications, and your file services, this really enables you to move seamlessly from one device to another. So again, if you have a system in the office that you want to work from, but then you're at home and you want to just log in and connect from your home Mac, or maybe you're traveling for the weekend and you need to take care of a few things from a tablet, you have much more flexibility in terms of what device you're connecting from, so you're not lugging around your company laptop wherever you go. So many of our customers really like this benefit. And if you have problems on a particular device, if you're traveling with your laptop and you don't have power and you've run out of power, or if your laptop gets lost or stolen, or if you have a technical problem like a hard drive failure, you're not without your data. You can just grab another device and connect to your all-covered workspace and pick up where you left off. So it really helps your workforce to be resilient from these types of situations and to keep productive, not be set back by these problems that inevitably always happen at the worst possible time. The next topic, security, we see as a key benefit. All-covered workspaces can really help to protect and store your information. A hosted workspace not only stores these files in this location, but also really provides an all-in-one data protection scheme. Your hosted workspace is backed up on a regular basis, so you don't have to worry about, for instance, backups running on everyone's individual desktop to get their data, or even rely upon people making sure they copy their data to the network drive to get it backed up. Because in practice, that never gets done consistently, and managing backup solutions across a fleet of laptops can really adds quite a bit of overhead. And we think that from a security perspective, the upfront investment in getting into an environment like this really helps protect your long-term investment, keeping your data safe and really protecting your intellectual property. The final benefit I'd like to cover is around scalability. We see all-covered workspaces working for any size businesses. It can be scaled up or down as needed. So hosted workspaces can really be designed to accommodate your company's future growth, or whatever changes happen to your company. once you're in a platform like this, you don't have those big upgrades that happen every 3 years or such. That happens, we handle that as part of the service behind the scenes, so you're never directly impacted by that. And we know your business applications may change over time, so we do have the ability to integrate new tools and software as needed. So, if you migrate into this platform and 6 months in, you decide you're moving from one accounting package to another, we can easily work with you to install that new accounting package, go through some testing with that, and really do the QA with you. And when you're ready to cut your users over, we can make that your primary new workspace that your end users are working from. So it really provides a lot of flexibility throughout migrations. So why consider all covered workspaces? Well, based upon our research and industry analysts, adopting a DaaS solution like all covered workspaces can really deliver some potential savings. This comparison here looks at really three different scenarios. A traditional PC, with your data and applications residing on that PC. The middle option is VDI, or Virtual Desktop Infrastructure, and I'll explain that in a moment, or a DaaS offering like all covered workspaces. So we do see that, the traditional PC approach really can be expensive, insecure, and maintenance heavy. And with an expanding virtual workforce, the logistics and the challenges with getting people their physical PC or dealing with that PC in the event of, a hardware problem, that's only getting worse and worse. So we really see this idea of having these hosted desktops provide a competitive advantage. Now, these hosted desktops can be provided in two ways. A company can go out and build their own environment for this, and that's what VDI, or Virtual Desktop Infrastructure, refers to. But there are certainly some challenges with building your own in this situation. With the traditional PC approach, the IT labor costs end up being larger than the cost of buying the device in the first place. When you go over to VDI, you do offset some of these IT labor costs, but in many cases you're trading them for the costs and really the high-end expertise you need to be able to build these solutions in your own data center. And it really doesn't scale down to our smaller clients very well. So what we see is with the DaaS offering, by providing a hosted desktop environment as a service, leveraging, all covered by leveraging its existing expertise in infrastructure and data center, we're able to bring this to market at a price point. Again, when you look at the overall total cost of ownership, at a price point that's very attractive. We think it really provides a value, not only by lowering the long-term and overall cost of ownership, but providing the flexibility that we've discussed throughout this discussion. So we really do think that there are a lot of benefits that help you to simplify how your users connect and to protect your intellectual property, really to drive down the overall costs of the platform. So let's look feature by feature and compare it to an on-premise solution versus all covered workspaces. The first item, does it provide a consistent interface across any device? A traditional on-premise solution with your legacy PCs does not do that. All covered workspaces does. Does it make your data accessible from any device in any location? Again, the answer is no to a traditional on-premise solution, but yes to all covered workspaces. And with the solution, is your data housed in a secure data center where it's protected from environmental risks, and if there's any corruption or a virus issue, can easily be returned to that previous state? The answer is yes, again, with all covered workspaces. It easily scales up and down to meet your needs, and it's provided via monthly operational expense versus a capital expenditure. Can the environment be easily replicated based upon the organizational role? So, that means, can we quickly and easily spin up new workspaces to suit your employee needs? And the answer is yes, with all covered workspaces. At the same time, there are other areas where it's very similar to your traditional laptop or desktop and your on-premise servers. It can run all major applications that we see in our customers' operating environments. And there's no big learning curve because it's really a standard Windows operating environment. So from an employee perspective, once we go through and train them for connecting, which is a very streamlined process, once they're connected, they're doing what they've always done in this environment. So we see in some areas it's not all that different from what your employees are doing today, but behind the scenes it really does have some critical benefits that help to make sure your data is protected and provide that flexibility to your employees so that they can be productive from anywhere at any time. So just recapping some of these key benefits, we're able to enable users to access corporate apps and data from any device or location. We can help protect against loss and leaks of sensitive corporate data. We provide an environment where these centrally administered and managed desktops are available to your employees. We can reduce the time needed to deploy applications and updates because we're really just focused on, when you do have to update that your environment for an application, we can deploy it in one place, and that is instantly accessible to all of your users and on all their devices. We don't have to go around and make sure everyone's PCs are updated, as well as, if it's a mobile application, make sure that their tablets are updated. So it really reduces the scope of what we need to do for updates. This solution really balances user requirements and needs with corporate compliance by giving users the flexibility to connect to these environments centrally. And overall, we feel that this really delivers a great user experience. So we think that all covered workspaces will really be a win-win in protecting your corporate assets and providing users with that flexibility that many of them are trying to do today with their use of devices. However, it'll make them much more productive in those situations. So with that, I would like to circle back and answer different questions that we have. And we had some questions come up throughout the webinar, so I'd like to transition over to that. Our moderator is collecting the questions as we speak, but I'd like to bring up a couple that have come up. The first is, what platforms can my employees connect from? I'd suggested broadly that really they can connect from anywhere on any device, but to be specific on that, the Citrix receiver component is available on Android, it's on Chrome OS, it's on iOS devices, as well as obviously a PC, a Mac, even a Linux device you can connect from. So it does provide a lot of flexibility. Another question that came in is, how do I connect if I don't have an internet connection? Well, to be perfectly upfront on that, you do need an internet connection to connect to your workspace. But more and more we see that it's less and less common for people to be without an internet connection. In fact, I can give a personal example. I was on a JetBlue flight last week, and JetBlue offers Wi-Fi now, for free of charge. So we're even seeing that become commonplace on airplanes. We had a question specifically around system requirements and will this work with Chromebooks? And the answer is yes. The system requirements are very low because you're only connecting to that remote workspace and then presenting the data back to that system you're connecting from. So it has a very light load on the system you're connecting from, and it does work specifically with Chromebooks. So yes, with these workspaces, that could open up some options of using Chromebooks in situations where you may still be reliant upon Microsoft applications and other applications that could just run in this workspace. Another question I received is, don't I still need a PC in my office to connect to the AC workspace? And the answer to that is you do still need a system to connect from. So it doesn't entirely eliminate the need to have a system. However, since the real processing can occur in the workspace, it really does reduce those system requirements. So that may open up possibilities, as we mentioned, to expanding your bring your own device policies. It could help you to get longer life or repurpose existing PCs past the typical 3-year refresh cycle. So it can help to drive down costs in other ways related to that. A couple of other questions came in. Well, one came in regards to my company uses Microsoft Dynamics Great Plains to run our business. Can all covered workspaces support this? And the answer is absolutely yes. So one area I'd like to touch on in a little more detail is that when we onboard a customer, we'll help to load any particular applications they have into their workspace image, we refer to it as. But many of our clients have different application servers, and this environment is tightly integrated with our other hosting options. So if you had a Great Plains server, we could easily host that Great Plains server in our all-covered cloud as well. And that would ensure very good performance and connectivity between your workspaces and your Great Plains server. So it really can become a full computing environment in the cloud. So another question came up. Is there an ability to have an on-site backup of my data? So I would think that this would mean, can I have the data replicated back to the customer premise? We don't have that built into the standard capabilities right now. What we do have for the backup, the all-covered cloud spans a number of data centers. So in our design, we do have that data replicated from what would be your primary data center to a secondary data center. And it's done so at regular intervals. So you have versions. So if you had to fail back to a particular point in time, you could do so. But we don't have in our design the ability to sync the data back to your premise. Certainly, if you had specific needs around that, this type of solution on a dedicated basis we've provided to some clients in our AC Cloud, what we refer to as our IaaS platform. But that feature of syncing the data back to your site is not part of the all-covered workspaces. And a question, this question comes up in most hosting situations. How do I get it off your servers? Do I have a dedicated server or a virtual CPU? So in a situation, if a customer were to migrate their data out of all-covered workspaces, your system is running on a virtual Citrix XenApp server or multiple servers, depending upon the number of users you have. But that would be, we do have some policies defined to be able to easily extract your data. So your data would never be held hostage in any way, and our agreements are very clear about that. Your data is your intellectual property, It's just running and access in our computing environment, but that is your data. And if in the event that a client needs to migrate away from this platform in any way, we would make sure that that data is readily accessible to you. How much is all covered Workspaces is the final question I received. So the pricing, we are selling this as a bundled offering with our all covered care and user support. So the pricing of that is in the range, it's still being finalized, but it's in the range of $149 per user per month. But that includes the computing environment, the technical support for anyone using that environment or any applications that are running in that. It would also cover some monitoring of connectivity back to your premise. So there are some nuances around that, and that's still being a few items related to that. It's still being finalized, but that would be a good ballpark figure to use. I'd like to announce that this webinar has been recorded. It'll be posted to the All Covered website, along with a lot of our great webinars that we've done in the past. So I would definitely encourage you to go back to that. You can review that if any other questions come up in the future, or to see some of the other webinars we've done in the past. But I definitely want to highlight that, and we thank you for your time today. And with that, just checking with our moderator to make sure there are no final questions. But with that, I'd like to thank you all for attending, and we look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. With that, thank you very much for your attendance. We'll talk soon on the next one. Thank you.